Okay, this is a project that represents the ER 1155 multi-token um, game. Basically, this works within gaming tokens. This is a token that consolidates down multiple um, transactions into multiple transactions into a single transaction. This is basically a crop of we've got the carrot, potato, the corn. These are crops that have a supply of 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and the price is 300, 150, and 100. So, and then we have these NFTs that represent basically this is a more of a non-fungible token versus these are, there's an abundance of these. So this would be fungible tokens that, there are multiple ones. The golden carrot represents a supply of one, and then the golden potato is a supply of two, and then the rainbow corn is a supply of three. Their respective prices are listed below. So how this works is that the investor invests DAI into the NFT farm, and with that investment, over time, and the percentage of the investment, it'll increase. I think it's like 700 points every 700 seconds. Then they'll get points that accumulate with the staked DAI into the farm. The farmer is the deployer of the NFT farm, and the investor is essentially the buyer. So that's basically a high level overview of how we'll show how this contract works in action, and then also make a purchase with the points that are accumulated from the investor with the different variation or different products that are available. Okay, this is my test machine here. Started Ganache with 100 fake, or 10 accounts with 100 fake Ether in each of them. I've connected my, let's see here, a MetaMask wallet, right? And here we have the two accounts with that are connected through Ganache, but also connected with MetaMask, so we can perform the transactions with a wallet. So these are the two accounts right here that we just tested with before. This first account here is representative of the this first account here represents the NFT owner, and the second account is the NFT, or sorry, the second account here is the investor. Okay, and now that we have the project open, migrate the project. All right, and still simmering here. All right, excellent. Looks like it migrated the project. Yeah, so it looks like it migrated without any issues. So move on to the next phase of the project. Going through the migrations contract, see here we have the first part of it is deploy mock tokens to the deployer, and then we deploy the crops to deploy the crops with the ER 1155 using the 1155 NFT, or sorry. Okay, so going through the migration, or sorry, going through the migrations contract, we go through the deployer. Go through the deployer contract. You can see all of the emission rate, the different IDs, and the totals for each of the items, and the price for each of the items displayed in an array. And then let's see here, and then we have the deploy mock tokens and deploy the crops, ERC 1155 NFT, and then deploy NFT farm with this command here. Approve the NFT farm to spend the crops NFT, and then all crops NFT to the NFT farm. So that puts these items into the farm, and then transfer 100 mock DAI tokens to the investor. So at a high level, this is the deploy contract. Okay, in the source directory, this part makes up the front end components, basically the web interface with React.js. These are all the components that make that up. And then we have the contracts directory, which contains crops, the DAI token, migrations, and then the NFTs. Okay, so now that we've given a quick tour of this project, we'll look through the smart contracts, and then we'll boot up the front end and look at the web interface of the project so you can see it in action. So basically for the DAI contract, we use the OpenZeppelin library to reference, so that way we don't have to reinvent the wheel. This is the contract, the contract, the name of the token, and it's ERC20, and then this is the minting function, and minting 1 million DAI tokens for the investor. So, and this makes it easy to just use this library, so that way we don't have to reinvent the wheel every time for something that's easily created. Next, let's look at the crops contract. So here we have the OpenZeppelin library referring to the ERC 1155 token, and we created the constructor related to the basically all the images for the crops. This lives on the interplanetary file system. This is where you can store images on the blockchain without. Basically, it's meant for NFTs and storing images and artwork and things like that. So you can reference the images more easily on the blockchain. And under here we have each basically more or less an array for each item. The first item is a carrot. Potato is item number. The carrot is 0. Potato is 1. Corn is 2. Golden carrot is 3. And sprout potato is 4. And rainbow carrot is 5. That's a total of six items. And under here is the basically the quantities that are available for each of those items. So be able to match all of the, this basically mints the quantity available for each of the items within the contract. Basically, how the investor gets points. So there's the points equals the stakeholders balance times the time since the last deposit, and then the emission rate. Plus that equals points debt or debit. So, yeah. So basically, what this is, let's say the user deposits one die, and then for 60 seconds, and then the emission rate is 1. So 1 6 times 60, and the emission rate 1. So that basically gets them 1 point. And then let's say the user comes back and stakes another die 60 seconds later. Then multiply that, the stake balance of 2 times the last time it was deposited, times the emission rate of 1, and then so that basically should give them 120 points. Is that right? Sorry. That should give them 120 points at the end of the second 60 seconds. So. Okay, so in the NFT contracts, we have the open Zeppelin references for the ERC 1155 token, and then ownable reference for the Open Zeppelin library. Here you can see the basically the formula put together for the staked amount last last time when points were deposited, and then let's see here, total WETH points collected after the last deposit, and then here we have a see here, basically the NFT ID, the crops that are remaining in the farm, and then the points required to claim the NFTs. Then we have the this is basically how this how it's calculated, and for the DAI token and getting the points. Next, we're on to the functions of the NFT farm. We have the it calls the data for the each of the items, the total of each of the items, and then the price of each of the items. And this is let's see here, represented by the external owner only, but we have the oops, sorry about that. But we have the basically this array that basically all these totals have to equal the same length. Next, we have the save batch transfer from function for the crops. This is the NFT owner in this case, and then let's see here, the IDs and the the IDs and the totals of each of the items within the crop. The loop information. So we have 6 different items. So this will loop through 6 different times. Let's see here, the ID, the remaining totals, and then the prices, which is related to this construct for this construct for the NFT info is listed up here, and then also with the user info as well. Is essentially once the user purchases the crops, that takes away from the inventory and the totals of the total inventory of each of the crops. Next, we have the stake token function. This allows the user to stake the mocked DAI token. This is the investor, the amount, and this is called, and then storing the user information, and then user amount and user deposited equals balance for the investor as well. This line here basically looks to see if the user has already deposited, or if the user has deposited the mock DAI before, and then it looks for the points and then the balance as well. This looks at the, let's see here. This looks at the user staked amount plus whatever the amount that they already have. Then the last time it was updated, and then use the block time stamp variable to estimate the time of the last time the user or the investor deposited money or to stake in the NFT farm. Next, we have the claim NFT function. This function looks at the array, and then also looks at the NFT indexes to look at the quantities of the crops that they can acquire. This is the length, the quantity, and is this the correct length? Let's see here. This calls the user's info and sends the message to the investor for this. But if there is enough, it deducts the points in the cost of the item, and then basically it updates through the timestamp block. This library reference of the block.time stamp, and then the user info and the remaining NFTs quantities. So that is that portion of it. Section, basically there's this safe batch transfer from. This is the owner of the crops, and then the owner of the crops, and then this is the investor, and this is the NFT indexes on how much what crops they have, and then the quantities that they have after this loops through for each of the NFT indexes, or each of the NFTs, the 6 NFTs that are in the crops. So lastly, we have the unstaked token function. We call the user of the basically that's the investor. The staked amount cannot be less than 0, and then token transfer to the investor, and then the unstaked amount. So that basically transfers everything to the investor. let's see here. Lastly, we have the updated user info. The user's points, debt, and this is the investor, and unstaked amount is 0. Basically with the block timestamp, and then basically sets the user's info, or sends a message to the sends the message to the user of the balance. So at this time, I think we're ready to start the front end of the website, so we can look at the interface of the front end. Okay, so at this point, I believe we're ready to boot up the front end, so we can take a look at the project. Start. And this will take just a moment to boot up. And it looks like it's coming up here. And here we have the NFTs. And let's make sure we're on the right network. Ganache network. There we go. The two, with the two Ether accounts that are connected with Ganache. So for here, we will stake 30 DAI out of balance of 100. You can see the quantities here: 300, 1,000 in stock, and then price 150, 2,000, 3,000, and price 100. Then price 30,000, 2 in stock, and then 3 in stock, and the varying prices. So, so I'm going to stake, let's see here, 30 of my 100 DAI, and get the MetaMask confirmation, confirm. Let's see here, yeah. So this looks like, there we go, confirm it. Loading the block. So now my balance is 70. And see here, shows right here, staking 30 and total points 60. And I'm just going to pause the recording here for a second, let this run for about 5 minutes, and accumulate some points. So I'll be back. Okay, now I'm going to refresh the page here, and a couple minutes have passed. Reconnect the wallet, and yeah, a few minutes have passed. Balance is still at 70. Staked 30 DAI or mock DAI, and my balance is 1,100 and 430 points. So now go and buy some crops, and our points balance should deduct here. So I'm just going to buy 3 carrots. I'll buy 3 potatoes. Buy 6 potatoes, and let's see here, and then 3 corn. So click. Yeah, that's the total balance of my spend on the crops. So hopefully that will deduct, but it's also been accumulating while I've been talking as well. So point balance will go up as well. So So this is the call to the contract, and there we are. As expected, the points went up just a little bit because I was talking during the refresh, but here I have my the crops that I own now are 3 carrots, 6, or sorry, I collected 3 carrots, 6 potatoes, and 3 corn. And now I'm going to unstake my die, or my mock die, sorry, unstake. MetaMask is asking me to make the transaction once again, confirm, and now I should have my full 100 points back. I accumulated a little bit more interest, or a little bit more of points waiting for that transaction and my purchase of the items as well. So my points balance went up as well. But you can also see that the carrots, the quantity that I bought, 3 carrots, deducted that from the 1,000 that was available, 2,000 minus 6, and then the reduction of the corn as well. And yeah, so that pretty much goes over the ERC 1155 token, basically simplifying multiple transactions and consolidating multiple contracts all into a single transaction, saving gas fees, and then being able to reduce the complexity and also the price of a transaction. So hope you found this presentation enjoyable, and if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me or contact me, and love to answer any of your questions. Thanks so much. Okay, now that we demonstrated that the front end works, now I'd like to look at the this works. So basically there is let's see here, we've got the crop array 0 through 5, but we have the set network ID, use state, and the die token. All these constructs here are looking at different data related to the user wallet, token balances, and total cost, quantities, loading, and then all the different data sets. Okay, so looking at the code that puts basically the front end of this together, we're using let's see here, CSS. We're using the use state to basically update with all this information that's in the front end. This load 3 construct basically gets called when the user connects the wallet, and all this information right here is called when the user clicks on that. So what that does is basically it grabs a copy of all of the different contracts and loads that data into, let's see here, NFT farm, balance, NFT, so basically it gets all this information and then loads it once the wallet is connected. These next 3 functions are the functions that write the data to the blockchain. Let's see here, looking for the die token, and then the stake function, and loads that data to the blockchain. Unstaked tokens basically waits for the amount of tokens that are unstaked and gets the results, and then this relates to the NFT function, quantities, amounts, index, and then pulls that information and loads it to the blockchain related to the quantities of what the investor has related to NFTs. Here we have the information that loads the DAI token balance, points balance, stake balance, staking balance, and stake tokens and unstaked tokens. So this is the component that does that portion of. Here we display the list of crops array through mapping, and then let's see here, the class crops array, total number, image for each of it. Each of the images, the price, and remaining total numbers of each of the items that are in stock. And down here is the change of the quantities, triggers the event. So the quantities, the listed crops, price, and this updates the quantities after certain produce or certain parts of the crop are purchased. Let's see here, the total costs of the purchase, and then we have the button when pushed, claim the NFT crops once that button's pushed. Basically, this portion of it displays the amount of crops that have been claimed by the investor. So this is the user's, the main function. So when the user inputs the amount that they're staking, reads the current value, and then uses this utility to convert convert the DAI into Wei. So that way it's so jumping down here to the unstake button, this unstakes the tokens that have been staked, and basically gives it back to the investor. We use the Web3 handler account. Basically, if the user's account is not connected, it'll be blank. But if they haven't connected, it'll display on the nav bar, click or basically the click to connect their wallet, and that pretty much sums up how the nav bar is functions. So yeah, overall this gives you the full overview of how the ERC 1155 token can be used in the gaming space to reduce the amount of transactions and consolidate everything down into one single transaction, and also reduce the amount of contracts, because with the typical NFT tokens. Each of these would have their own contract for each of these NFTs. And this consolidates everything down, reducing gas fees, and I think this has a great potential to be of great value in the future for the blockchain space. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. The contact button on my portfolio site, or reach out to me at cryptomanben@gmail.com. Thanks so much.